Hey, what's going on? What's going on, lineage? What's going on, Grand Rising? This is your brother Chief Kalinago, man. Pardon me. Hope everybody's having a great continuation so far. As you could see, we about to get into some serious things. All right, I'm about to do a lesson, so you may want to get a pen, you may want to get a pad because I'm telling you, we're gonna go in, right? So let me make sure I have audio and video on Facebook. Yes, we do. Hold up for 1 second. Hold on. All right, cool. So here we go. Okay. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, lineage? What's up? What's up? Brother Kick Rocks. Okay, listen. I know it's early, but I had to get this lesson together because I have a long 24 ahead of me. I got some things to do, got some moves to make. So, but I wanted to get this lesson together because it is just so important that we know exactly what's going on. And I've titled this lesson The Plantation. All right. Because a lot of people don't realize we are actually on a plantation. And like I said, I know it's early. Some of you was partying last night, drinking, having a good time, or doing other things. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line is you may be a little bit tired. So what I did yesterday is I went to Staples and I actually bought this. Now, mind you, this board right here is 60 something dollars. And all of this came up to about $98. So why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this to let you know that, me bringing information to you and teaching you is my purpose. And I'll do it at any cost, meaning that it doesn't matter what it costs me, how much it costs me, I'm going to do it. I don't ask you to donate anything in return. All I'm asking is for you to learn the information, apply the information, understand the information, overstand the information, so you know what you're dealing with and you know how to maneuver within this plantation. Okay, so we're going to go over a couple of things. Now, we're talking about the plantation here, right? The plantation here. A lot of times when we hear the term plantation, of course, what comes to mind? What comes to mind is the term of slavery. The word slavery comes to mind when we talk about plantation. Okay. A lot of people think that slavery was abolished. No, slavery was not abolished. Okay. The only thing was that was abolished was the physical abuse or the extremities of what we call slavery. That was abolished. Okay. So what we're talking about is what was abolished was the extreme or the brutality of slavery when it comes to the physicality of slavery. But slavery was literally transferred on paper. You see, like how they made us American Indians extinct on paper, which what they call paper genocide. That's what happened with slavery. Slavery left a physical plantation and went onto a paper form in contracts. Okay. And that's how, and we talking about contracts from the government. So literally we're still on a big plantation. Now, what is the plantation? The plantation that I'm talking about here today is the USA, the United States, the US. All right, United States. That is the plantation that I'm talking about. Once again, a lot of us don't realize that the United States is a big corporation. The United States is a big plantation. All right. And I'm going to break a couple of things down to you. So, this is the United States. We're going to do it like a big pizza pie, right? So, this is the United States here. All right. It's like a big pizza pie. And then we have 50 different pieces of the pizza. All right. So, this is the center right here. Okay. And we're dealing with the different slices of pizza, 50 of them. Okay. We have 50 of them. Now, this may not exactly be 50, but you get what I'm saying, right? So we have California, we have Cali, we have Texas, okay? We have New York, we have Connecticut, all right? We have Iowa, and the likes, right? So literally we're talking about, this is a big plantation, and all the different states, okay, are fractions, okay, of that plantation. And once I'm done with all of this, it's going to make all the sense in the world, okay? But first, let us deal with the United States. What is the United States? I've done this before, and I've proven to you that the United States is actually a corporation. And I'm going to show it to you again just for the purpose of this lesson. All right. So we have all the different states right here, and the United States is actually, DC. All right, is the capital, so to speak. All right, that's where the headquarters is for the plantation, DC. All right. So here we are. We are going to go now and we're going to look at, let me share my screen. And for the purpose of this lesson, like I said, we are going to go and point out what we call getting to the United States, exactly what it means. All right, here we are. Just so you totally get this, all right, so that you understand and listen, my brothers and sisters. What I'm teaching here today is just so important. I've spoken about it before, but I haven't gone in such details. Because what we're going to do is we're going to go over a few things. We're going to go over Title 28, Section 3002. We're going to go over Title 15, Section 472, which I've done before. But again, this lesson is a whole lot more comprehensive. We're going to go into Soliviter Matus. We're going to go into a natural person. We're going to go into ens legis, what that means. We're going to talk about a monster. We're going to talk about the 13th Amendment. We're going to talk about legal versus lawful. And we're going to talk about the Social Security number. All right. All these things are important because you have to know how we are entrapped, all right, by this corporation, and everything is contractual. Everything is voluntary. And we are also going to talk about the legal system. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to talk about the United States and what it is, because I have to set up the precedents to show you that this is a plantation. It is nothing but a plantation, a big corporation, and everybody is a worker. Every individual is a worker. You see, when you are truly free, you work because you want to, not because you have to. You see, there's a difference. I'm going to repeat that. When you are truly free, you work because you want to, not because you have to. Anytime you have to work, then you are a slave. And we are in a system where we have to work. So therefore, we are all enslaved. Okay? Whether you like it or not, I'm just giving you the facts. All right? Now, check this out. Grand rising to each and every one of you. All right? So the code is Title 28, Section 3002, subsection 15, capital A. Here we go. That's the first thing we have to break down. So here we are, and that's on the screen, of course. Let's go down to section 15. What does it say? United States, a federal corporation. So if the United States in itself, okay, is a corporation, then what are the subsidiaries, such as Connecticut, California, Texas, New York, Massachusetts, right? Utah, okay, and all the other states. What does that make them? I'm going to ask you this question again. If the parent company, if the parent, which is the United States, is a corporation, what does that make the subsidiaries? That's why when you go to every state, you will see that the state troopers, they all look alike in terms of the uniformity. I'm going to repeat that. When you go to every state, you'll realize that all the troopers, they dress alike, they look alike. The cars on the highway, they are pretty much the same. Why? Because they are in uniform. Companies produce uniform. So therefore, once again, the United States is a corporation, and all the states are fractionalized subsidiaries. Okay, they are franchises. So in every franchise, it doesn't matter where you go to. If you go to China, you'll see that McDonald's, the setup is the same. If you go to, let's just say you go to France, McDonald's, the setup is the same. Why? Because it's a franchise. The United States is the parent company, okay? And the individual states, they are the franchises. That's why everything have to look the same. So you will see that the highway patrol is the same. The sheriff is the same. The local police, they are the same codes, basically the same. The only thing that may change slightly is the color in the uniform or a slight variation in the uniform. But hence, we still have the word uniform, dealing with people that deal with corporations. Okay? So once again, if the United States is a corporation, which it is, Title 28, Section 3002, subsection 15A, if the United States is a corporation, then what are the states? They are also individual corporations. They are franchises. So Connecticut is a franchise, California is a franchise, Texas is a franchise, New York is a franchise. You get where I'm going with this. Okay, now I'm not the one telling you this. Go look at the codes for yourself. They themselves are telling you exactly what it is. Not just Chief Kalanago saying it, it's in their codes, because everything has to be told to you. All right, so that whatever you do, it's voluntary, whether it's done through trickery, whether it's done through coercion, or whether it's done voluntarily or involuntarily, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is they have to let you know. They have to put you on notice. So the notice is, go to this code and you will see that the United States is a corporation, it's a plantation, it's a big workforce. It's a big workforce. It's a big business. It's no different from Kentucky. It's no different from Target. It's no different from Walmart. And if you cannot get that through your head, you're not going to get any of this. And if you're going to play like it don't exist, then again, you perish for the lack of knowledge. And whatever you get, you deserve. I mean, hey, I'm just keeping it real. Okay. So now the next thing we're going to do is this. We hold on for 1 second, please. Yo, I'm doing a lesson. I'm gonna call you back. What's up? Real quick. Yeah. All right. All right. Okay. So just to further validate my point, we're going, and I've done this before, but we're going to go look at exactly what a United States business is, okay, to prove my point. And I'm using their own codes, okay? So we're going to stop sharing and we're going to go to the next one. Now, do me a favor, go over this video and take your notes. Take your time, take notes, all right? Because I really want you to get this, all right? Let me go ahead and share my screen. We're going to go here. Now, here we are. Now, this is, please take notes. I want you to take notes. Write these things down and teach that to your children. Teach that to your people. Pause the video. Go back. Pause the video. This is serious. This is important. This is a matter of freedom and enslavement. This is a matter of your sovereignty and you being enslaved. Okay? Now, the next title we're going to take a look at is Title 15. Title 15, Section 4724, and we are going to go to subsection E1. So we're going to go all the way down, and we're going to go to E, and we're going to go to 1. Now, what does it say here? Just to validate the truth and the facts that I'm giving you, I just showed you that in Title 28, subsection 3002, 15A, capital A, that the United States is a corporation. I also emphasize that each state, as in California, Connecticut, Texas, New York, etc., they are all a franchise of the parent company, which is the United States. And every individual that's within these franchises or these states, they are also part of the franchise because they are what? They are children of the franchise. How did that happen? They became children of the franchise through what's called the birth certificate. Okay, BC. The birth certificate was the contract. The birth certificate was the foundation of creating a new slave. And the new slave would be in all capital letters. Okay, CAPS, all caps. Okay, so the birth certificate produced a new form of slave, a new business, and that business has a name, and that name is John Doe. Okay, in all capital letters, John Doe, which is the name that your mother or father gave you. All right, so now we are talking about franchising, right? Franchising. So first, we have the parent company, right? Then we have the states, which are franchised, and from the franchise of the states, they created another type of franchise, which is the all caps name. Okay, so you are nothing but a corporation, a business. Well, Chief, how can you prove that? Are you just talking? Do you know what you're talking about? I know you showed us proof that the United States is a corporation based on their own codes, but how can you say that we are a business, Chief? What do you mean? What do you mean that the all caps is not me? It's not you, it's a corporation. Okay? And our mothers gave us up voluntarily. That's why on the birth certificate, the mother is an informant. You feel me? She informed the corporation, hey, I have another franchise that I want to open up. But first, we have to get into a contract. So what's the contract? The contract is the mother, the father, the child. That is what we call the Trinity. Who's playing God in the Trinity? The US, the government is playing God in that Trinity. Why? Because the government created a birth certificate as a record, and then they had to put a seal on it to seal the deal after the mother signed her nature away as in signature. But we could even take it further and said the mother autographed the birth certificate. And the first two letters in the word autograph is AU. Okay? On the elements or minerals or chart. Okay, the symbol for gold is AU. So when our mother signed or autographed, she gave away her nature, but not just that, she also signed, indicating that she signed in gold, which is the first two letters in autograph as in AU, which the symbol for gold is AU. I hope that makes sense. So now what we're looking at the next code. The next code is Title 15, Section 472E1. What does it say? The term United States business means what? A United States business is what? A United States citizen. Okay? A United States business is a United States citizen. Once again, I'm proving to you that the United States is a corporation. Then it created franchise. The franchise is each individual state. Then each state created a franchise because each birth certificate has the name of the franchise on it. Example, the state of New York has its own birth certificate. The state of Connecticut has its own birth certificate. The state of California has its own birth certificate. They are creating new businesses. They are creating individual franchise. Okay, so regardless whether you know it or not, or you like it or not, you are a corporation. You are a business. Everything in this place deals with business. That's why they always stress that the United States was built on small businesses. Go look at every politician that promotes businesses, and you will hear that term. The United States was built on small businesses. What are the small businesses? John Doe and Jane Doe, the all capital letters U and I. Okay, so the United States is a corporation, and a United States business means what? A United States citizen, and that's Title 15, Section 472, subsection E1. Okay, let us proceed. Now, a lot of you are going to ignore this because you are comfortable with your lives. A lot of you are going to ignore this because you are just too distracted. A lot of you are going to ignore this because you just don't care anymore. You have been beaten up so much that you just don't care. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take the beating. Let me just continue to take the beating. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what I show a lot of you, it's not going to make a difference. That spirit of our ancestors that's within you that's been beaten, you are not going to revive it. You are not going to restore that, that spirit of that warrior that's in you. You're not going to do it because some of you are just too far gone. So this lesson is for those that are really seeking truth and are ready to stand up and fight back and take back our sovereignty. You see what I'm saying? It's really that simple. Okay? And I'm not talking about violence here, or that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there are ways we could do things where we don't have to attack anybody in the physical. All right? But we could bring a spiritual war. And I promise you, we won't lose. You feel me? Because all these things are spells, they are contracts. Okay, it's magic they're working on our people. It's wizardry that they're working on our people, and we don't realize that. Okay, and it's all voluntary. You feel me? So the next thing we're going to talk about is Saliviter matus. Saliviter matus. And Saliviter matus, we're going to get into that right now. All right, here we go. What does it mean? Well, you know what? Even before we go into that, we're going to go to the Constitution first. All right? Chief that, what it is, lineage. We are going to go to the Constitution. Okay? Here we are. The 13th Amendment. We are going to break that down. And I'm going to show you how they have entrapped our people. What am I doing here, man? Present, share. Here we are. We're going to go into the 13th Amendment first before we get into. So let me cross out 13th Amendment here because I'm doing that right now. Okay. So we have done Title 28. We have done Title 15, and we're going to now cover the 13th Amendment. What does it say here on the 13th Amendment? It says the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude. So the United States is stating in this part of the Constitution, neither slavery or what we call involuntary servitude. In other words, being a servant without your consent. That's what they are saying. Except, you see, there is always a provision. And you see, my brothers and sisters, you have to look at the contract. They are putting you on notice. They are letting you know exactly what they're doing because they have to. What you have to realize is this. There are what we call spiritual laws, okay, that cannot be broken. And they know this because if they break certain what we call, well, yes, spiritual, but galactic, that is the term. If they break certain galactic laws, they know that they could never, ever, ever, ever manifest in the flesh again. And when I say they, I'm talking about the people that are in control, because they cannot violate your free will. I don't think y'all hearing me today. I don't think you're hearing me. They cannot morally violate your free will. So it has to be voluntary. That's why everything has to be in notice. They have to let you know what's going on. But they trick you and they coerce you into thinking that it's mandatory so that you fall into the trap of being a slave on the plantation. Okay? So let's go to that 13th Amendment and let's read this. Let's break this down and see exactly what this is saying. The 13th Amendment, the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude. So they're saying that we banned it. No slavery, no involuntary servitude, except, you see, there's always a provision, except as a punishment for a crime. Now that word crime is very critical here because what constitutes a crime? You see, A crime is only committed when someone gets hurt, when there's an injured party, or you have defrauded someone, or you have damaged somebody's property. That is the only time a crime is committed. Okay? Taking a red light is not a crime. Driving without a license is not a crime. Okay? Not talking to the police is not a crime. You feel me? And I'll expound more on this when I get into legal and lawful, because there's a difference. So let's do this. So it says the only time they could bring back slavery and involuntary servitude is when, as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, okay, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to the jurisdiction. So as you could see, the United States is the parent company. It is the major, the big company, the big Walmart office. And then the different states, okay, is the mini Walmarts. And then they even took it further and created smaller Walmarts, which is the all capital letters, which is you. Okay, so with that being said, the only way to make slavery legal is to make sure that these people are punished for crimes. But you see, my people perish for the lack of knowledge because they don't know what a crime is. You feel me? They make you think that smoking a roach, which is what they call marijuana, is a crime. That is not a crime. The only time a crime has been convicted or committed, pardon me, is when someone is hurt or an injured party, you have damaged somebody's property, and when you have defrauded someone. And even then, when that happens, you still have to go through a process where you have to be tried by a jury, and they have to have at least eyewitnesses. They have to have eyewitnesses to say, well, hey, you know what? This is the person that hurt me. In other words, you have to face your accuser. You have every right to face your accuser. They cannot take a camera and say, hey, I saw you on camera, because now you have a right to face your accuser. Can the camera talk? No, the camera cannot talk. So therefore, it's not admissible in court. You see, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And I'm here to teach you. No, I'm not saying that if they, no, now I'm not here promoting anything for anybody to go do any crimes, hurt people, defraud people, or defraud people or damage people's property. That's not what I'm promoting. But I'm teaching you the law. You have a right to face your accuser. You have every right to face your accuser. Now, if they see you on camera committing a supposed crime, then that camera has to be able to go press the record in a court of law. I'm talking about a real court, okay? A three-article court, a third article court where there's a third article judge. The camera has to be able to go and press the record and say, hey, this is the individual that did that to me. If the camera cannot do that, it is not admissible in court. They have to have a witness, an injured party that's going to come, press the record, and say, this is the individual that did that to me. Okay? So we have to be very mindful of that term and that word crime. What is a crime? Who determined what a crime is? Because the real criminals, who are the ones policing them? The real criminals, where is the court of justice that's trying them? The real criminals, where are the judges that's judging them? You see, the people that's doing the judging, they are the criminals. The people that's doing the policing, they are the criminals. Now, I'm not saying all police officers are criminals and they're bad. No. But if the good ones are not standing up for what the bad ones are doing, then they're all bad. You see what I'm saying? Because they know damn well they are violating people's rights. But of course, you have no rights because you are not the people. You see, there's a difference. You are not the people because of your what? Because of your status. And we'll go over that shortly. Okay, so let's read this again. The 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except for punishment. So what they're going to do is they're going to create a legal system, which we're going to go over a legal system. Okay, they're going to create a legal system where they say anything is a crime. Okay, jaywalking is a crime. If you're supposed to make a left, but you make a right, it's a crime. Those are not crimes. Those are infractions. They're not crimes. You feel me? They are not crimes. And all of this is commercial. Because why? We are living what? In a corporation. A plantation, that's a corporation. So even if you kill somebody, guess what? It's commercial. That's a fact. You feel me? Let's proceed. So now that you know the United States is a corporation, now that you know that a business in the corporation is a citizen is a business of the corporation, which I've already broken down. United States corporation, each of the individual states, mini corporations, and the individual states created another form of corporation, which is the all caps name, which is you, John Doe and Jane Doe. Okay? However, they're saying that we could enslave you, we could make you servants if you are punished for a crime. And they determine what a crime is. When in law, a crime is only committed when there's an injured party, you have defrauded someone, and you have damaged somebody's property. If you haven't done that, you have not committed a crime. So can you imagine how many of our brothers and sisters that are in jail right now who did not harm somebody? There was no injured party. They did not defraud anybody. And guess what? They did not damage anybody's property. Do you know how many thousands and thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of indigenous brothers and sisters that are in jail because they did not know that bit of information? You see, knowledge is powerful, but you want to know what's more powerful than knowledge? The implication of the knowledge, not the implication, the application of the knowledge, making it applicable to your life. That's what's powerful. Okay, knowing, hey, I know how to swim. Push me in the water, I might drown. So do I really know how to swim? You feel me? I have to get in the water and swim. And that's more powerful than knowing how to swim, the action. You feel me? So everything that I'm teaching you here, you have to make it applicable to your life because it's crucial to know these things. All right? So we have gone over the 13th Amendment. Now we are going to go into Saliviter Matus, which backs up what the 13th Amendment is saying. Okay? Let us go to that now. Let's go. We're going to look at Saliviter Matus right now. Hey, what up, Caesar? Here we are. Okay, Saliviter Matus. And that deals with status. Okay? Where your status makes you dead in the law. Okay? Your status makes you dead in the law. Here we are. Saliviter Matus. What does it mean? Saliviter Matus means civil death is the loss of all or almost all civil rights by a person due to what? A conviction for a felony or due to an act by the government of a country that results in the loss of civil rights. Now, what did the 13th Amendment say? No slavery or involuntary servitude shall exist in the United States except as punishment for committing a crime. Now, they turned everything into a crime, which is actually unlawful, but it's legal. We'll get to that soon. Because you see, there's a difference between legal and lawful. In a legal system, everything is a crime. But in a lawful system, the only time you have committed a crime is when you have injured somebody, when you have harmed somebody, meaning that defrauded someone is the same injury. So basically, it's only two things. When you have injured somebody and you have damaged somebody's property. Because when you defraud somebody, it still falls on the injury, right? So it's only two ways to commit a crime. When you have damaged somebody's property and when you have injured somebody. And even then, you still have a right to deal with the person outside of the court if you so choose. It's called common law. Okay? If I'm traveling down the street and I hit you, we don't have to go to court. The police don't have to get involved. We could deal with that outside of the court. All right? So we still have that option of dealing with each other and not going to the courts. Okay? So we're talking about saliviter matus, which kind of like coincides with the 13th Amendment. What does it say? Saliviter matus is civil death. You call yourself what? A civilian. Isn't that what they call us? My brothers and sisters, man. All I could do is teach you. Whatever you do with the information is up to you. You see, you are enslaved and you perish because of your lack of knowledge. And even when you get the knowledge, you don't want to apply the knowledge. You go back into your distractions. Oh, you know what? It's basketball season. Oh, you know what? It's football season. The Eagles is more important than the freedom of your children. The Eagles is more important than your own freedom. Oh, you know what? The game in Vegas is more important than you learning that stuff so you could free yourself. Because you are distracted. That's what slaves do. They distract slaves. They did that in Rome. When the people in Rome got weary, you know what they did? They took them in a Colosseum, and then what they did, they gave them entertainment. So they would forget all the hardships that they are going through. They would forget their plight because they have a moment of bliss with the entertainment. And every day you get the entertainment because every day there's another reality show. There's a new season for some show. So you don't realize that you are in a plantation. You don't realize that you are part of a corporation. You don't realize that you are actually a slave. Now, I know a lot of you don't want to hear the truth, but hey, what can I say? I'm here to give it to you. You do what you want with the information. Do as you may. So right now you are civilly dead because why? You are a civilian. And why are you dead because of that? A couple of things. For one, the all caps letter. The all caps letter, it means that you are not a natural person. So therefore, that alone means you are civilly dead. Another thing is you are going by the status of Black and African American. That means you are dead in law. You don't exist. Okay? So people like Umar Johnson are very dangerous to indigenous people. They are actually agents. They're getting paid to call you Black. Okay? So let us go now. So we have saliviter matus. Let us go now to the next. The next one we are going to go is in legis. Okay? In legis. In legis. And that is the status of many of us here in the United States. Ens legis. Okay? What is the meaning? And we're looking at the Black's Law Dictionary, the 2nd edition. What does it say? Okay? A creature of law, meaning that it was created by the law. What was that creature? The all caps letter. Is the all caps name. The John Doe in all caps or the Jane Doe. Okay? Or the Jane Doe. Don't believe anything that I say. Prove me wrong. Go look at your birth certificate. Your name is in all capital letters. Go look at your driver's license. Your name is in all capital letters. Go look at the bills that come to your house. Your name is in all capital letters. Why do you think? Do you think it's a coincidence? No. It is because this is the in legis, the creature that was created, not by law actually, but by a legal system. What does it say? An artificial being. So you and I are nothing but AI. You see how long AI been existing? Since the birth certificate was created, they created an artificial being. Man, I keep telling y'all, this is not a game. This is not a game. And what I do is not a game. But my people got to get it. You got to get it. You see me? So whenever you go into the court, you are playing a game. Where do they play basketball? They play basketball on a court. Where do they play tennis? They play tennis on a court. So when you go into the court, you are playing a game. That's why they have to serve you when you are playing tennis, right? And Serena does what? On a court. Serena serves somebody. What the person do? Do they just stand around and say, well, hey, I'm going to let the ball drop in my court. No, the person do what? When Serena serves them, what they do? They serve back the ball to Serena. So the court is a game of serving back and forth until the ball falls into somebody's court and that person gets a point. You see, you have to know these things. But the problem is, when you go into the court, you are going ill prepared because you think you are the all capital letters. No, that's not you. They make you think it's you, but it's not you. That was a creature, which was what? Ens legis, a creature of law, an artificial being, as contrasted with what? A natural person. What does it say? Applied to what? Corporations considered as deriving their existence entirely from law. A corporation. What is the United States? A corporation. So therefore, the United States is what? A creature of law, an artificial being. Now, the United States created all these individual states. What are these individual states? Connecticut, California, Texas, New York. They're what? They are creatures of law. They are artificial beings. But let's take it even further. What did they do? They created a birth certificate and created another creature of law, an artificial being, by the all caps name. So if your name is Michael Brown is a creature of the corporation. Michael Brown is an artificial being. And that artificial being has an authorized representative, which is you, the natural person. So what they did was they took your body when you were born and they gave your body a name. John Doe, Michael Brown, Jane Smith, John Doe. All these are artificial beings that they named the body. But the I am in you is not John Doe. The I am in you is what moves John Doe. John Doe is the body. John Doe is the artificial being. John Doe is the constructed being that was created by the corporation through the birth certificate as the contract. So you think it's you. No, it's not you. You are not the flesh. So therefore you are in the body, but you are not the body. You are in this world, but you are not of this world. You feel me? So once you comprehend these things, it's difficult for them to trap you. But once again, we have to learn these things as a collective. Okay? As a collective and stand up as a collective. So now that you see, okay, ens legis is not a natural person. But however, within the legal system, because you have a birth certificate, because your name is in all capital letters, because you are committing crimes every day, okay, you have lost your liberty. Celibatem letus. They call you civilians. Now, are you truly a civilian? Let's see. Let's see what civilian really means. The etymology of the word civilian. So let's see if you are actually a civilian. But they call you a civilian, huh? All right? Pay attention. Here we go. Let's go to Google. And we're going to go to the etymology of the word civilian. Civilian. And let's see if you and I are civilians. So why are our people fighting for civil rights? You see, you don't realize all these things. Okay, check this out. What does it say? A civilian is a judge or authority on civil law. So why did our people fight for civil rights if they were not judges or they were not experts on civil law? My brothers and sisters, you perish for the lack of knowledge. Now look at the etymology of the word civilian. A judge or an authority on civil law. So why are they calling us civilians? When you admit to being a civilian, you are a judge or authority on civil law. So you know who the real civilians are? The real civilians are the judges. The real civilians are the lawyers. The real civilians are the police officers. Not even the police officers, because they are not an authority on civil law. Police officers are not supposed to promote law. They're not supposed to interpret law. They're supposed to follow the law. So not even them, but a judge or an authority on civil law, as a lawyer, an attorney, they are the only civilians. Man, like I said, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. Now, for those of you that are getting this, do me a favor, type some sevens in the chat real quick. If you are getting this, type some sevens in the chat for me real quick. Let me know that you're with me here. Okay? Type some sevens in the chat because we're just getting started. We're going to go for a couple of hours. All right? So get a healthy snack and let's get down to some more knowledge. All right? Thank you. I appreciate that, Sister Diane Coy. Anybody else? Give me some sevens. Give me some sevens here. All right? So I appreciate that, Tanya Paul. All right? So I think it's Jan or Juan Asawa. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right? So my brothers and sisters, we are not civilians unless you are a judge or an authority on civil law. So you are not a civilian. All of these terms are contracts that put you in a position, all right, to commit crimes because you're dealing with a legal society. All right. Well, we're going to continue real quick. Let's move forward. Next, we're going to go to what's a natural person. A natural person opposed to a person that is en legis. Okay? Natural person. Here we are. We're going to Black's Law Dictionary and we're going to look at the meaning of a natural person. Natural person. Here we are. What does it say? A natural person is a human being naturally born versus a legally generated jurisdictional person. I'm going to read that again. A human being naturally born versus a legally generated juridical person. The juridical person that we are talking about is the all caps. It was legally generating. It did not say lawfully generating. You see, natural is law. You feel me? Legal is artificial. Legal is generated. You dig? So from the birth certificate, all right, an artificial being was created, which is what you think you are. The name on the driver's license is not you. That is your body. They gave a name. And like I told you before, you don't know when you was born. None of us know when we were born unless our parents told us. Okay? Because when you are actually born is when the sperm meets the egg. That's when you are born. But when you come out of your mother, that's your arrival date. That's not your birth date. So technically, if a police officer asks me what's my birth date, I don't know. But because of his ignorance or her ignorance, they might want to arrest me, kidnap me, because they are not taught. Okay, they are brainwashed like everybody else. Okay, they are puppets like anybody else. They are slaves like anybody else. And that's the truth. Because why? They have a job in the corporation. They are workers in the corporation. So everyone is a slave unless, hence the title of my book, or one of my books. Okay? So we have here natural person, a human being naturally born versus legally generated juridical person, meaning that the person that was generated by the birth certificate, your all caps name, you think it's you, but it's not you. You are the representative of that individual. It's not you. So whatever that individual do, it's not you doing it. Who is responsible for it? The people who created it. I'm going to repeat that. Whatever John Doe does, the all caps John Doe is not responsible because he's not the creator. The United States is the creator. So everything that John Doe does, it should be discharged by the United States. Frankenstein, whatever Frankenstein did, it was the responsibility of the people who created Frankenstein. So you and I and nothing but Frankenstein representing, saying that we are the capital letter. As long as you're saying you are all caps name, you are nothing but Frankenstein. As long as you're saying you are the all caps name, you are nothing but a legally generated juridical person. But we have to be mindful with that word human. Okay? We have to be mindful with that word human, because a human is a monster. So let us proceed. Okay? Let us proceed. And let's go look at monster. Monster. Here we are. Monster. What does it say here? Monster. Okay? Black's Law Dictionary, 2nd edition. It says, a prodigious birth. Okay? A human birth or offspring not having the shape of mankind. Now remember, there's man and mankind. So they call man a monster. Okay, they call man a monster when the truth of the matter is mankind is the monster. So everything was flipped around. And they say that that monster, which cannot be heir to any land, albeit to be brought forth by marriage, it doesn't matter. So therefore, black people and African Americans are monsters within the legal system. Okay, they have us as monsters, because why? We are not in the shape of mankind, because we are man. You see how deep this is? Now, a lot of you might think I'm crazy. Yeah, maybe I am. Prove me wrong. So that's a monster. Okay, a monster is a human, not H-U-E. You see, we are H-U-E, man. Although this has nothing to do with the color of skin, I'm just breaking it down to you how they flipped everything around. Okay? We got some more to go. The legal system now. We're going to deal with legal meaning, the meaning of legal. Okay? We did that. Legal versus lawful. So you know what we're talking about here. Legal versus lawful. Here we are. Legal versus lawful. All right, check this out. People commonly confuse lawful and legal because they are often used interchangeably in everyday language and can be seen as synonymous or synonyms. However, they actually have two distinct meanings. Lawful refers to something that is in accordance with law. In other words, lawful deals with law and law deals with nature. However, legal refers to something that has been established by law. So therefore, you could find legal things or a legal system within a lawful system, but it's not lawful. It was generated, it was created by law, by natural people. I'm going to repeat that. Okay, there's a difference between lawful and legal. That's why you have a legal society and not a lawful society. Because why? The United States is a legal society. Okay, that's why it's a plantation. The plantation is legal, but the plantation is not lawful. I'm going to repeat that. The plantation and the things that are done in the plantation, the US, and what we call the franchise, it is legal, but it's not lawful. It is legal, but it's not lawful. That's why we have a legal system. But guess what? They cannot force you to be part of the legal system. What does that mean? They cannot force you to be a United States citizen. However, how do they entrap you? With, honey. They will give honey provided that you obey, right? What does that mean? It means that if you want the privileges, then you would want to be a United States citizen. If you want the privileges, then you would want to have a social. You see how they trick you? It's like they telling you it's voluntary, but They not making it easy for you to live your life as a natural man or woman. They want you to be what? Enligis. They want you to be what? Celibatum. They want you to be this generated all cap letters. They want you to think it's you, but it's not you. Okay? It's not you. So there's a difference between legal and lawful. I know a lot of you, this may be a bit boring because I'm not talking about, gossiping. I'm not talking about the distractions. And trust me, when I first started studying law and learning all these things, I'm telling you, when I started reading, I used to go to sleep. I used to go to sleep because it's boring. I'm just gonna keep it real. But the ancestors came to me and told me, no, Chief, listen, man. You can't afford to go to sleep because your people need you. You got to wake up and learn this information, son. You feel me? And I had to go through the drudgery of learning these things, reading books that I didn't want to read, studying law that I didn't want to study because it was boring. Because that was just the way the mind was triggered at that time. And I had to talk myself out of that. I had to beat that laziness out of my mind. I wasn't a lazy person. It's just that when it came to studying these type of things, it put me to sleep. Okay? So learn the difference between legal and lawful. Everything that they're doing is legal, but it's not lawful. You are not a civilian. A civilian is a judge or someone who has the authority on civil law. Why are they calling us civilians? The all cap letters on your birth certificate or your ID is not you. That is the arrival, an occasion that happened. In other words, when the body arrived, they give the body a name. But the I am that was born when the sperm made the egg, that's not you. Those are two different individuals. They gave the flesh a name. The flesh is John Doe, but the I am is not John Doe. So now you're thinking you are John Doe in all capital letters. So everything that John Doe does, you have to go to court and answer to that name. But if you do not accept that name, if you deny that name 3 times, okay, they're supposed to let you walk. Unless you have damaged somebody's property or you have injured somebody. And even then, if you and the person decide to deal with that outside of the court, then you walk. But when you go with the judge, ask you your name or what's your name? John Doe. Boom, here you go. Contract signed. Now you are telling them you are the all cap letters. So now you are in their jurisdiction. You are in the jurisdiction. All right, so learn the difference between lawful and legal or legal and lawful. You see, legal is of law, but law is not of legal. Okay? Learn the difference. Next. What do we have here now? We are going to look at the definition of status in the Black's Law Dictionary. Okay? Status. All this is important. All right? So we talked about the natural person and legis. We talk about the monster. We talk about legal versus lawful. Okay, we're making some progress. All right, here we are. It says status in Black's Law Dictionary. The status of a person in his what? In his legal possession or condition. You see, once again, status deals with a legal system. In a lawful system, you don't need no status. You're just a sovereign. Well, by default, it's a status, but you're just a man or woman on natural land. You feel me? But in a legal system, you need to correct your status because that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a legal system. We're dealing with a legal plantation. We're dealing with the United States and its franchises, which is each individual state. Okay, so your status is determined by what you claim to be. If you think you are the all capital letters, then that's your status. If you think you're black, then that's your status. If you think that you're African American, then that's your status. The problem is, it's to your own detriment. When you call yourself black, you call yourself celibatum. You call yourself a monster. Okay? So, what is your position in your legal position or condition. What is your status in your legal or in your legal position or your legal condition? What is your status, my brothers and sisters? Once again, if you are black, you are dead in law. Celibate matus. If you're African American, you're dead in law. Celibate matus. So when the police pull you over, they assume that you're black. Boom. Guess what? Dead man walking. Okay? That's what it means. Learn. Knowledge is power. Next, we're going to go into the Social Security manual. Okay? The Social Security manual. Now, this is not my manual. Okay? No, it's not. It's straight from the Social Security Administration. That is their manual. Now, is it mandatory to have a social? No. But they want you to think it is. So let us read, because reading is fun for the mental, right? Let's read. What does it say? Social Security today and tomorrow. Social Security Administration. Okay, hey, go look it up yourself. Don't believe anything that I say. Anytime I ask you to believe me, I'm lying to you, because in the word believe, there's the word lie. So let's go ahead and read this. What does it say? Social Security numbers for children. The easiest way to get a Social Security number is for your newborn to apply when you provide information for your baby's birth certificate in the hospital. That is not a birth certificate. You see, that is the fraud. It is not a birth certificate, because you were not there and you don't know when you were born. Your arrival is not your birth, but yet still they call it a birth certificate. It's a fraud. That's why your birth certificate is not considered a form of ID. So therefore, any identification that stems from the mother, which is the birth certificate, is a fraud, because the birth certificate is not a form of ID. So how can something that came from the birth certificate be a form of ID? No. If you bring 3 people to say this is who you are, it holds more credence than a birth certificate, because the birth certificate is fraud. You feel me? It is fraud. That's why Peter had to deny Jesus 3 times. Again, allegorically speaking. Why? Denying his identity 3 times. So if you get 3 people to identify you and confirm who you are, it holds more credence than your birth certificate. All right? The birth certificate is a fraud. That is not your birth date. It's the arrival. And they gave the arrival a name, as in John Doe, in all capital letters. The birth certificate is the receipt of that. And your mother signed away an autograph, as in AU, signed in gold as an informant. And then the government said, hey, well, thank you. Let's seal the deal. So they put the seal of the state on there, the corporation. All right, let's read some more. It says, if you wait to apply for a number at a Social Security office, there may be delays while we verify your child's birth certificate. Not even their birth certificate is mandatory. They want you to think you're supposed to have that, but you're not supposed to. Well, you don't have to put it that way. But if you don't, they make life impossible for you, because why? You are in a plantation. It's a jail. When you're in jail, I've never been to prison, but when you're in prison, okay, if you want privileges, you have to do certain things. And if you don't abide by the rules in the plantation, what they do? They put you in the hole. They don't give you food. They send people to beat you up. You feel it's the same thing. It's just an open plantation and you think you're free. You're not free. We are not free in this plantation. Okay? Now it says, why should I get a Social Security number for my child? This is the reason why they are saying, or they are assuming, okay, that you should get one. You need an SSN to claim your child as a dependent on your income tax. Now, we're going to get into that into a second. You see, all those privileges, perks, okay, that they're teasing you with. It says your child may also need a number if you plan to open a bank account for your child. You don't need a social to open a bank account. That shouldn't be. But you see, you don't want to wake up. You don't want to come together and challenge these things. All right. Buy saving bonds for your child. Get medical coverage for your child. You don't need a social for that to happen. Okay. Apply for government services for your child. You don't need a social for that to happen. Because why? The government, we are in the trust of the government, and automatically they're supposed to take care of us. Okay, it's called a fiduciary responsibility, and I've done a video on that. No need to do it again. Okay. Now it says, here's the big question. Must my child have a social security number? The answer is what? Getting an SSN for your newborn is what? Voluntary. But they always give you a provision. You see, in the contract, it's a contract, but there's always a provision, just like in the 13th Amendment. Oh, you know what? We cannot enslave nobody. We cannot make anybody involuntary servants, but we found a way we could do it. Make sure that they're able to commit crimes. So they turn everything into a crime. In a legal system, it's not lawful. Okay, so it says, but may be necessary to obtain important services such as those listed above for your child. Therefore, getting a number when your child is born is a good idea. You see that? It's voluntary, but they're going to cripple you. They're going to make sure that you will not be able to breathe if you don't get one. But y'all don't want to wake up and come together, though. Y'all don't want to join your brother so we could do some things. Now, go show me anybody else on YouTube that's indigenous teaching you about these things. All right. All right, cool. Social Security. Boom. All right, here we go. So we have all of this. We have gone through all of this. We have covered everything here. So what we're going to do now is I've explained all of this to you for the most part. You know what I mean? Now, you may ask, well, Chief, what is the solution? How do we combat all of this? How do we deal with all of this? Well, here we go. Okay. All right. All right, let's get rid of all of this. Okay. So we're still going to leave the topic or the subject of the plantation. We're still going to leave that here. All right. All right, cool. You don't have to be So here we are. How do we deal with all of this? Okay. We have the United States. So we have the United States is a box, right? Same thing as a circle, pizza, whatever the case is, right? So this is the United States right here. The United States. This is the US. All right. The corporation. All right. Corporation. This is the US corporation. Everybody within the US corporation is a mini corporation. So, like I said before, you have the states. All right. You have all the individual states. All right. Each line represents an individual state. All right. And each individual state created a person. Okay. All right. As you can see, each individual state created a person, and that person is a creature of each individual state as per the birth certificate. It was created. It's an artificial being. Okay. So if you say that you are the person on the ID that came from the birth certificate, then that's what you're saying. You are an artificial person. You are not a natural person. Okay. So these people here are subject to the legal system. Okay. The legal system. The legal system. Okay. The legal system. That's why you have a legal society. All right. All this is legal, but it's not lawful. How do we, as a collective, make sure that we interject with the law? How do you take yourself out of this situation? Because the United States is in a box. Now, this is you. You are literally deep in prison. And you don't realize that. You are deep in prison on paper. And it's become your reality. Because if the United States, not if, the United States is indeed a corporation, and every citizen is a business, because that's what a business, a United States business means, a citizen. So if the citizens are the persons that are created, they are monsters, right? That means they are in a box. How do you get out of the box? Key thing, status. You see that? Your status deals with your legal condition. Your legal condition. Remember what status means. We went over that, right? Your legal condition or your legal position or condition. That's what determines where you are at in the corporation. Now, how do you get outside of the box? You see, you want to get outside the box. We want to be outside the box. Outside the box. We don't want to be in the box. You want to be outside the box so that now you are a sovereign. Okay? I know how to spell sovereign. All right? So you are a sovereign. Not a sovereign citizen, but a sovereign of the land. Okay? So now the people that we identify as Black and African American, guess what? We are actually the what? We are actually the American Indians. You see the solution? We are actually the American Indians. All right? We are actually the American Indians. So how do you put yourself outside of the box? Huh? You become who you are. Now, are they going to make it easy? No, I'm not saying that. But that is the solution to, or at least how we start the process. We have to adjust this status and come out of this box, because you see, Black and African American belong in the box. Black and African American belong in the box, in the legal system, the legal society. So whatever they do to you, it is legal. But when you come outside of the box, they could no longer deal with you from a legal perspective. They have to deal with you from a lawful perspective, because you are no longer in the box. You are no longer a creature that they created. Right? Because we are the American Indians, and that's facts over feelings. Right? So that's how we start this process, by adjusting your status, by no longer claiming that you are a slave, that you are a 13th Amendment product, or even a 14th Amendment product, a creature of the United States. Okay? Now I'm going to show you the power that being who we are, putting it into effect and applying it, I'm going to show you how powerful it is. Okay? Because we have to get outside of the box. We have to get outside the legal system and go on to where we deal with natural people. American Indians are natural people. Native Americans are not natural people. Native Americans are literally constructs of the United States. There's no such thing as a Native American. Okay, that was created. Okay? The same thing. There's no difference between Native American and Black people and African Americans. The only difference is, well, there's a difference. The only difference is Native American was created to replace the American Indian. Who is the American Indian? The so-called people that are called Black and African Americans. So Native American was put in place to get their benefits, because they don't want this Black, so-called Black people and so-called African Americans to know that we are the original people of this land. So you see, we're dealing with an illusion here. Okay? We're dealing with an illusion. Now, let me show you something else. All right? I hope this is making sense. For those of you who don't get it, man, listen. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to show you. Okay? But you got to get this. You got to get this. All right? We got to get it, man. We got to get it. All right, we have to. We got to get it. Okay? Here we are. Now, American Indians are landlords. Okay? American Indians, well, put it that way, were the landlords. Were the landlords. Okay? Now, we are the tenants. All right? Now, we also have treaties. What is the law of the land? The law of the land are treaties and the Constitution. And the Constitution, right? Now, the treaties are signed with American Indians and not Native Americans. All right? American Indians and not Native Americans. What or whom is the only ethnic group that are mentioned in the Constitution? Guess what? American Indians. American Indians. Guess who the American Indians are? So-called black people and African Americans. All right? We are the American Indians. So therefore, if the treaties and the Constitution is literally the law of the land, and then the only ethnic group that's mentioned in the Constitution and these treaties is the American Indian, and the real American Indian are we the people they call black and African American. Guess who are still the landlords on this land, but we don't know? We are. Guess who have the highest sovereignty on this land? We are, but we don't know. How do they get you to give up your right as being a landlord? By changing your identity. Okay? By creating a new you. By creating a monster. By creating a generated artificial being. You are nothing but AI. An artificial intelligent being. That's what they created on paper. And you say that's who you are because you claim that this is you on the birth certificate. Oh, it's my birth. It's not your birth certificate. It's not yours. It says the state of New York. It said the state of California. It's not yours. It is theirs, but you claim it. You feel me? So the only way for us to come out of that box, we have to go back to being who we are, American Indians. So therefore, now the law applies, and then the treaties apply, and then the Constitution applies. The Constitution does not apply to black people and African American. They are not considered one of we the people. Well, how is that possible? Because why? Because of the Dred Scott case. The Dred. Look at the word Dred. Okay? Do you think it's a coincidence that his name is Dred? Forget the so-called last name. Look at the name. Dred. Okay? So because of the Dred Scott case, it says that no African American, anybody of African descent, okay, could ever be a citizen of the United States, meaning that the Constitution doesn't apply to them. Whether you think you're African or not, that's not the point. It is presumed and assumed that you are African descent because that's what's being promoted. How do we take care of that? Status, okay? Status, 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 okay? Status. You have, remember what status is in the Blackstone Dictionary. Your legal position or your condition. My brothers and sisters, that's what's killing us. Not the color of our skin. It is because of your status, your ignorance, and your lack of knowledge. And you know what? The key factor, okay, the main reason is because we don't want to come together. Too much hatred, too much animosity, too much jealousy. Everybody want to be a chief. Nobody want to be an Indian. Okay? So to summarize all of this, the United States is nothing but a big plantation, a big corporation. And in that corporation, it has its subsidiaries, which are the individual states. And in the individual states, they created mini corporations through the birth certificate, which is the legal person they created, which is you. Okay? It's not just in the United States, it's all over the world now. But we're dealing with the United States right here. Okay? So each individual is a small business. Now let me put you on to game. When you get your check, they say, oh, well, you have to file income tax because they call the money that you get income. If you have the knowledge, you know it's not income because why? There's no real money. There is no real money. Money doesn't exist. Real money is gold and silver. This is not money. All this is, it says it right here on the top of the dollar bill on the left side right here. This, it says this note is a legal tender for private and public, for public and private. It's a debt note. Okay, so if this is a debt note, how can it be income? Man, listen, man. I tell my people, man, yo, it's just so easy. It's just so easy. It's not even funny. It's funny to me because it's so easy. This has no value. It says it right here. Look, it's right here. It says it right here. Okay, read it. Okay, what does it say? Right here. What does it say? This note is a legal tender for what? I'm trying to see if I can zoom. For all debts, public and private. It's a promissory note. It is not income. It's a debt note. So how do you have income if this is not money? But they trick you into thinking it's income. So if you have an income, then they get to tax your income. Oh my goodness. Woo. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. And you know, and it's sad, man. It's sad because, and that's why I have to get emotional because of what we are going through, because of our ignorance. My brothers and sisters, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You see, that's why they tell you it's business, it's never personal. But you take it personal because you don't comprehend business. No one taught you business literacy. No one taught you financial literacy. Okay? How are they going to tax you if it's not money? How are they going to tax you if it's not real? But they give it a name, income. And then you say you have income. They give you a check, not knowing that that check is not money. You could sign that check off as not it being real money. And when you deposit it, it's going to say on the check, this is not real money. It's a debt note. So therefore, it's not income. But oh, by the way, this is not advice. Okay, I'm just putting you into some game. The way out, okay? The way out is to claim our status as American Indians. And for even those of you who think you're from Africa, your status is white, not African American. Your status is white because all Africans who come here, their status is white. So, like I said, Umar Johnson is an agent. Yeah, tell him I said so. Because no one with such intelligence, if I may, knowledge, education, should be calling all people black. You see, the goal is to keep you in the box, to keep you in the box, to keep you a slave. That's the goal. They don't want you to be the landlord again. Okay, they don't want us to be that. They don't want us to be the American Indian. So they have to keep further and further pushing away the concept of us being American Indian. And when I say concept, because even American Indian is a misnomer, but it's okay. Because this is the only way we get to go back home. Because it's in the Constitution and it's in all the treaties. It's in House Resolution 331. where the United States said, listen, we have an obligation to deal with the Indians and their tribes and their members from a government to government basis. Okay? So if we choose not to be United States citizens, if we choose not to have a social security number, we have a right to set up our own system, and they have to acknowledge it. They have every obligation to do so. But hey, what do I know, right? Maybe I'm bugging. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. You want to continue to be a slave? Be that. You want us to rise and come together? Let's come together. Join me. See, I just don't talk about it. I came here to do more. I don't just give you the information. I came here to do more. That's not everybody's purpose. That's mine. Okay? So in closing, do me a favor. Look in the link of the description of this lesson. You will see both books, GENE-IN-SIS to Reevaluation and Everyone is a Slave Unless. Get a copy of the book, man. If you need anything, forget the next pair of pants and shirt and sneaker that you got to buy. You need these books in your life. You don't want it, you need it. Okay? So I just gave you the way out. If you don't think you're American Indian and you think you're from Africa, then your status is white. Not black or African American. That doesn't exist. Africa is a continent. America is a continent. How can you be two continents? And black belongs in a crayon box. So, right there, I just proved to you that you are celibator matus. You have no rights. The Constitution does not apply to you. Each and every one of us in the United States, the so-called people of color, black, African American, we should adjust this status post haste immediately. Get out of being a slave. You see, when you adjust this status and we start doing it in numbers, going back to who we are, American Indians, guess what? They cannot send us to jail. Now, I'm not here to promote violence. I'm not here to tell you, well, go break the law or go hurt people. No, that's not what I'm saying. When I say they cannot send us in their jails, meaning that all the crimes that they created that are not crimes, they cannot lock us up for that. Even if it's an extreme situation where you hurt somebody, they cannot lock us up from that. They cannot lock us up either. Why? Because we have our own. They have to come to us and say, hey, that individual did this, did that, and we have to try our own people. They cannot try our own. How can you judge our people if we are not you? We did not come from you. That alone in itself proves that we are prisoners of war in and on our own land. Prisoners of war. Okay? So my brothers and sisters, it is up to you. Nobody could free you but yourself. Nobody could get you out of this situation but yourself. You have a choice. Be a slave with your family, or if your family don't want to get it, be a free man or woman without them. Now, I know this may sound harsh, but the truth of the matter is, those who don't want to get it, let them be. Let them do what they have to do. But you have to get out. And when we spoke of getting out, okay, getting out of her, that's what I'm talking about. I'm teaching you about the true Exodus. You see, all that other stuff we are talking about, it's all allegory, right? All allegory, which leads us to this, the Exodus, okay? The Exodus, all right? The Exodus, okay? The Exodus, because the United States, the corporation, is the plantation, okay? That's what it is. So when we say get out of her, get out of her, okay? Get out of her. We're not talking about leaving our motherland and going to Africa. That's not what I'm talking about. We are talking about status. Get out of her, meaning that status. All right. Your status is how you get out of her. It's not by going to Africa. You're not African. We are not Africans. Okay. We are not African. Getting out of her doesn't mean go to Africa. Okay. The Americas is our motherland. Getting out of her means that you have to adjust your status. Stop being black, stop being African American, and be who you are, who we truly are, American Indian and white. Okay? That's how we get out of her. Not by going to Africa. Africa is not our home. It's not going to work for us. We are not the natural people of Africa. So how is the natural lands of Africa going to work for Americans? Africa is for Africans. America is for Americans. And we are the only ones who are Americans. They just took our place. And when I say they, I'm talking about everybody who came here. It doesn't matter what complexion they are. If they are Europeans, whether they are the original Europeans, which are the so-called black Europeans, or the pale Europeans, they are now called Americans, meaning that they replaced us. So we have to go back to who we truly are. American Indians, become the landlords again, become sovereign, and we have to do it as a collective, come together as a community and get out of her, meaning that the United States, her means the United States. That's what her means, the United States. And I'm not talking about the land mass, meaning that you have to have a passport to get out. No, we are talking about all you need is your documents. That's why the pen is mightier than the sword. You don't need a whole lot of documents. No, just a simple form to adjust your status. That's it. It's really that simple. And then the rest, we have to come together and make sure it's enforced. You want to know how to win? I just gave it to you. And guess what they have to do? They have to honor it, because they cannot violate certain galactic laws. They cannot violate certain galactic laws. That's why they have a moral. You see, you're missing the term moral in House Resolution 331. The United States has a moral obligation to deal with American Indians. As a matter of fact, before I get out of here, I'm going to show you. Let's go to this real quick. I want to show it to you before I go. Okay? I want to show it to you real quick before I go. So we're going to go over that real quick. Give me 1 second. Because I want to show you how we win as American Indians. That's how we win. Okay? Here we are. House Resolution 331. That's the final thing that we're going to go over right now. Okay? House Resolution 331. Let me show it to you real quick. Here we go. House Resolution 331. Okay? That was in 1988. Okay? House Resolution 331. What does it say? Well, no, this is no. Give me 1 second. That's not it. That's not it. Pardon me. That's not it. That's not it. I'm showing you the wrong thing. H.res.con. Here we go. This is it right here. Hold up. My apologies. I have it right here, man. Where it's at. H.res.con. Let me see. So representative 18 from the whole thing. Give me 1 second, please. I want to go over that real quick. Especially this for this national education. H.res.com 331. Resolution. All right, where do I have that? Give me 1 second, please, my dear brothers and sisters. Give me 1 second, please. I know I got it somewhere. I mean, I don't have to go over it, but I want to. So let me just see if I can find it real quick. All right. Well, you know what? I think I could find it. I think I know where I could find it easier. Give me 1 second. Let's go to www dot the. All right, here we go. Um, let's go to here. I think I could find it here. Give me 1 second, please. Um, Chief Katanago and alrighty. House Resolution 331. All right, here we go. All right, cool. Got it. All right, perfect. So I want to go over this real quick with you to show you once again with the obligation that the United States has. All right. The obligation that the United States has right here. Once we have corrected our status as who we truly are, American Indians. Okay. And of course, we're not even talking about the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. We have to come together to make sure that's put into law. Okay. So here we are. House H.Con.Res 331. In the Senate of the United States, October 5th, Legislative Day, September 26, 1988. What happened in 1988? Jesse Jackson came on a grand stage and said, hey, you are African Americans. So you see, even the people that we look at for leadership, they are selling us out. They are putting us more and more into slavery. Why didn't Jesse Jackson come and say, hey, you know what? Guess what, guys? We are the American Indians, and they just passed, in 1988, they just passed the H.Con.Res 331. Let me tell you what it's about. No, he chose to take the bag and come and tell us that we are African Americans. Is that a coincidence that happened in 1988 as well? No, it's not a coincidence. Okay, so what does it say? It says concurrent resolution, meaning that it's current. All right. To acknowledge the contributions of the Iroquois Confederacy of Nations to the development of the United States Constitution and to reaffirm the continuing government to government relationship between whom? Indian tribes. Did it say Native American tribes? No. Did it say Moors? No. Did it say Israelites? No. It says American Indian tribes, because that's who we are. Okay? And the United States established in the Constitution. It says, whereas the original framers of the Constitution, including most notably George Washington, who was a man of color, and Benjamin Franklin, are known to have greatly admired the concepts of the Six Nations of the Iroquois Confederacy. Whereas the considerations of the original 13 colonies into one republic was influenced by the political system developed by the Iroquois Confederacy, and as were many of the democratic principles which were incorporated into the Constitution itself. So what are they telling you? In their own words, they're saying that it was us who actually gave them the concept of the 13 colonies and the Constitution. We gave it to them. Now, if you want to know why it all happened and how they end up being on top, go read my book, GENE-IN-SIS to Reevaluation. I broke all of that down in the book. The link is in the description. Let's read. It says, and whereas since the formation of the United States, Congress has recognized the sovereign status of Indian tribes. So if the tribes are sovereign, what does that make the people in the tribes? We are supposed to be sovereign. Let's read. And has, through the exercise of powers reserved the federal government in the Commerce Clause of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, dealt with Indian tribes on a what? On a government to government basis. In other words, we have to have our own government. All right. And has, through the Treaty Clause, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2, entered into 370 treaties with Indian nations, Indians, American Indians, not natives. And I have all those treaties. Okay. Whereas the first treaty entered into with an Indian nation, the treaty with the Delaware Indians, and they were not Delaware Moors, they were Delaware Indians, and Moors came and mixed in with them. All right. September 17th, 1778, the Congress has assumed a trust responsibility and obligation to Indian tribes and their members, not just the tribes, but the members. Congress has an obligation. You feel me? Whereas this trust responsibility calls for Congress to exercise what? The utmost good faith. The utmost good faith. Not some good faith, not a little bit of good faith, the utmost in its highest order. Okay? In dealing with Indians. Okay? Indians as individuals dealing with us. As provided in the Northwest Ordinance of 1787, 1 Stat 50. We are the only ones that's mentioned in the Constitution and in the Northwest Ordinance and in the treaties, not Native Americans, American Indians. Okay? To show you that there's a difference. Whereas the judicial systems of the United States has consistently recognized and reaffirmed this special relationship. You see, the United States is not supposed to have a special relationship with Black people or African American. The United States don't owe you anything except for enslaving you. I mean, now, hey, I know it's harsh. I'm just giving you the truth, because Black and African American, it equals slave. You feel me? In the United States corporation, you are not one of the people. You feel me? So the only thing that the United States is good for, where Black people and African Americans are concerned, is slavery. And that's facts. Check this out. Resolved, meaning that when we say resolved, that means that whatever issue there was is settled. So now it's resolved. Resolved by the House of Representatives, the Senate's concurrent, that one, the Congress, on the occasion of the 200th anniversary of signing of the United States Constitution, acknowledged the contribution made by the Iroquois Confederacy and the Indian nations to the formation and development of the United States. You see, we allowed it. We allow it to happen. Now you may ask yourself, well, Chief, why did we allow it? Go get the book, GENE-IN-SIS to Reevaluation. I broke all of that down eloquently. Okay, it's in the link below. All right. Number two, Congress also hereby reaffirms the constitutionally recognized government to, here it goes again, government to government relationship with Indian tribes, which has been what? The cornerstone of the national Indian policy. Okay. Number three, the Congress specifically acknowledges and reaffirms the trust, a trust responsibility and what? Obligation. When you have an obligation, it means you must do something. Okay. Of the United States government to Indian tribes, including Alaska Natives, for their preservation, protection, and enhancement, including the provision of health, education, social, and economic assistance programs as necessary, including the duty to assist the tribes in their performance for social and economic well-being of their members and preserve tribal cultural identity and heritage. So therefore, you don't need a social security to get those benefits because you're an American Indian. But because we are not coming together, because we are not uniting, because we are not adjusting our status, because we are not going back to claim our birthright as American Indians, we are subjected to the legal system, to the plantation, to the legal system, and not a lawful system. Okay, it says, and, okay, number four, the Congress acknowledged the need to exercise the utmost good faith, because remember, galactic laws, they cannot violate that. They know what it means. So it's a spiritual thing. You feel me? Good faith in upholding its treaties with the various tribes as the tribes understood them to be. So it has to be clear to us as we understood these treaties. So we could go back to these treaties and say, nah, we don't think our ancestors. No, no, we got to go over that again. But we're not stepping up, right? And it says, as the tribes understood them to be, and the duty of a great nation is to uphold its legal and what? Moral. Goes back to the galactic laws, the natural laws of the universe. You cannot enslave the natural people unless it's done voluntarily or by trickery. You feel me? They tell you, but they give you information that's going to put you into slavery voluntarily, and you don't know. I mean, involuntarily, and you don't know. With the contracts, the words, the legal system, okay? It says, and as the tribes understood them to be, and the duty of the great nation is to uphold the legal and moral obligation for the benefit of all the citizens, so that they and their posterity, meaning that our children, may also continue to enjoy the rights they have enshrined in the United States Constitution for time immemorial, meaning that forever, as long as we so choose. We enshrine that into the Constitution. Our ancestors make sure that that was our protection. That is our bulletproof vest, going back to who we are as the indigenous American Indians. Okay? It says, passed by the House Representative October 1988, the same year that Jesse Jackson came and said, hey, you know what? You're American Indians. Not American Indians, you are African American, when he should have been talking about this. So yes, he took the bag. You feel me? So once again, as you can see on the shirt, all right, I am indigenous, I'm not black, American Indian, original Mainichi Declaration. It's on my shirt. All right. When you go get your book on the same website, the clothing is on the website as well. So, man, listen, I hope you found some good information. And in this lesson, I will do another one, not today for sure, but I will do another one in regards to, but more so from a spiritual perspective, because that's one of my gifts as well. In fact, that's where I'm actually, I think I'm a little more powerful in terms of breaking down things of the spiritual realm. Okay, I have a certain understanding. So I'm going to do another video and break that down. Okay, so this was more so on the physical aspect, dealing with the plantation, which is the United States Corporation, and how we were able to be enslaved and why we are enslaved and why we're still enslaved unless we do certain things. Number one is status. Your status. What is status in the Black's Law Dictionary? One's legal position. One's legal position and condition. So things are not happening because we are black. No. You see that? Look, see? This is black. Okay? You feel me? So things are not happening because we are black. No. Things are happening because of our ignorance. It's happening because of the status of being called black or African American. So once you get this concept that the United States is truly a corporation and each individual state is a baby of the corporation, so they're corporations, and each small business is actually you because of the birth certificate that you are a corporation, and therefore in every corporation they have codes. That's why you have codes that all the workers have to abide by. We are nothing but workers in the corporation, small businesses. We are franchise, many franchises, okay? And there are codes. How to get out of that? You got to go back to who we truly are, American Indians. We have to correct that. We have to put a shock in the system, all right? We have to put a glitch in the matrix. That's how you put a glitch in the matrix, okay? When in the movie Matrix, when Neo wanted to go into the Matrix, Neo did not go out of the Matrix. No, Neo went into the belly of the beast. And he went in so that there would be an implosion to create the explosion. So therefore, we have to go in the belly of the beast. How do you do that? Status. Status. Go into the belly of the beast, adjust your status, and put a glitch in the system. See, our ancestors waiting for this. They're waiting for this. Okay? And I'm going to say this with all sincerity. Yes, there are a couple of brothers that's really about this and stepping up and doing, and yes, that's cool. But my sisters, you are truly the answer. So I implore you, I'm asking you, I can't tell you what to do, but I'm asking you, give up all the distractions and all the bullshit, man. Okay? This is our birthright. This is our sovereignty. I'm asking you to step up. Join me, join us. Send me an email, okay? Be a part of what we're doing. Because when it's all said and done, you are the ones that's going to teach the youngins, okay? My email is unitedannionwea@gmail.com. Let me give it to you before I get out of here, because I'm about to close this out. All right? Go to Google. All right, put in the email, unitedannionwea@gmail.com. All right, let me share it with you, because I'm about to get out of here, man. Almost 2 hours. All right. Here we are. This is the email. Now, for the brothers that would like to be a part of what we're doing, you know what I mean, feel free to reach out as well. You know, I'm not taking anything away from the brothers, you know, but we need to uplift our sisters and put them back where they belong, on that pedestal that they belong. And my sisters, when you're being raised and uplift on that pedestal, you have to give up a lot of things. Okay? You have to give up a lot of things, because you are the true signature of morality. And if you're immoral, then we cannot put you on that pedestal. Okay? So if you haven't found yourself, we can help you find yourself. I know I can. All right. So this is the email. Look, I have it's supposed to be united. Give me 1 second. I misspelled that. All right. I have so right here. It's unitedannionwea@gmail.com. Unitedannionwea@gmail.com. Okay? It is time, my brothers and sisters. We can't afford to be wasting time. All right? We have to do this for our children. We have to do this for our elders. We have to go back. Okay? When we say get out of her, we are talking about, this is what it means. For Neo to get out of her, Neo had to go within her. I'm going to repeat that. For Neo to get out of her, Neo had to go within her. You feel me? That's how we do it. So we got to go into the system and correct our status as American Indians. That's going to put glitches in the system. You see, y'all don't, I'm not sure if you're hearing me. You feel me? That's how we put the glitch in the system. That's how we shock the system. Okay? We got to get out of her. And it doesn't mean buying a plane ticket to go to Africa. We ain't Africans. We are not Africans. Our ancestors are not Africans. This is our motherland. It's our birthright. Okay? Cool. So let me get underneath here real quick and show you real quick. For those of you who haven't seen this, let me stop sharing this real quick, because I'm about to, like I said, I'm about to conclude this video. All right, here we are. And so this right here is our nation seal. Okay? The great seal of the United Annionwea Nation. We are on a mission. We are not going to stop. We are going to continue to move forward. Anyone who wants to be a part of what we are doing, you don't have to be a part of our nation. It's okay if you don't want to be. It's fine. Okay? You don't have to be. But be a part of a nation, and let's come together and work together. That's all I'm just saying. Okay? So we have established our nation, and we have a solid, a group of brothers and sisters that are standing, and we are making some serious moves. All right? So everything, like I said, is already in place. Let's work on the Exodus. We could do it together. All right? That's what I'm here for. That's why I'm here to teach you. All right? And like I said, if you want shirts like this, you could go to the website, myniji.com. The link is in the description. You could get your books. All right? Both books are actually on the website. All right? Yeah, man. But it was an honor bringing this to you. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a whole lot more lessons. I just wanted to kind of like go over this in detail and give you a storyline as to what's happening, what happened, and what we could do. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying there are not going to be challenges, but I promise you, when it's all said and done, going back to who we truly are, all right, as American Indians, and putting a glitch in that system, we are going to shock the system. All right, we are going to shock the system, and our ancestors are going to do the rest. I promise you that. Okay, I know it's going to happen. We just got to come together. We just got to unite. We need the numbers. All right, we need the numbers, and they have to be forced to be put in a position so that we could create our own system, because they have to deal with us from a government to government basis. We don't need their social security numbers. We don't need their birth certificates. Now we can create our own, and they have to oblige to our own, because that is the deal. That's what the treaty says. Okay, that's what House Resolution 330 H.Con Res 331 says. But we have to have the numbers. You see, they're not going to honor the individuals, no, because they are bullies. They promote their system based on fear. Oh, well, if you don't do this, we're going to lock you up. If you don't do this, we're not going to give you that. But once we put the glitch in the system, status. What is the definition of status? Legal definition: your position, your legal position and condition. And the reason why we're going through this is because we're not in the proper condition. We're not in the proper position. It's all about position. You have to know how to play your position. It's all a game. All right? So, with that being said, man, listen, I love y'all. It's always an honor. I am here to serve. That is my purpose. I love doing what I'm doing. Like I said, I mean, come on. I spent $60-something on this. Was it necessary? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't care. The bottom line is, I wanted to do this. I went to Staples yesterday and I got it. Got all of this. Literally about $100 for this, right? I'm not asking you for any donations. All I'm asking you is to learn the information and let's come together. That's all I'm asking, man. Don't send me no cash app. I don't want that. All I'm just saying is, listen, learn the information. Let's make it applicable and let's come together. That's all I'm asking. And of course, go to the website, support the clothing line. Hey, the books, get the books. That's all I'm asking, man. That's all I'm asking. But I'm here for you. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to teach you. I'm here to give you the knowledge. All right. But there are a lot of things that I know it works, but it's going to work better as a collective. That's all I'm just saying. All right. So we'll talk soon, man. How many do you have? It says how many Sister Diane, when you say how many numbers do you have, what you mean? I'm not sure what you mean. Okay. If you're talking about in regards to us coming together, we just need as many people as possible. There are millions of us in this corporation. All right. Let's get to about 5 to 10,000 of us. You know, each one tell one, each one bring one. Let's do this. You feel me? Just like how you have the Nation of Islam. They have about 15,000 people in their nation. All right. Can you imagine we get to about 15,000 of us? Oh my goodness. And we have that type of publicity that they have. We're going to flip this thing upside down. And that is the goal. Take back our birthright. All right. It's ours. Restore our birthright. Okay. So, like I said, the next video I'm going to talk about, the next lesson is going to deal with more of a spiritual perspective thing in terms of, you know, reparations means to repair. So we're going to talk about that spiritual aspect of that. How do we go about doing that? And we could move forward. Okay. So enjoy the rest of your 24. Have an amazing, if where you at, the sun is out, Sunday. Okay. Regardless of what, have an amazing Sunday, as in the sun is out. All right. Enjoy your 24. I love y'all. I hope you found some value in this lesson. Go back, take some notes, think about what I'm saying, and prove me wrong. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. But everything that I've given you is facts. Everything that I've taught you is the truth. All right. We are slaves in this plantation unless, and I'm going to leave it as that. Both books are in the description. I love y'all. We'll talk soon. All right.